Next up, we're actually going to hear from the president and COO of Guesty, Raviv-Schwarz. She's going to be talking about some of the macro forces impacting the industry right now and some emerging trends. A lot of big, high-level stuff to keep your eyes aware for. This is not the nitty-gritty. This is more big-picture stuff, just so you can kind of better inform the conversations that you're having throughout the conference, whether it's networking or talking with a Guesty team member. So, without further ado, please welcome to the stage, Vered, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Wonderful to see you all. I'm Raviv-Schwarz, President and CEO of Guesty, and I joined Guesty 7 years ago. At the time, we were 80 people struggling to explain to investors and people around us what it is we do, really, and that short-term rentals is even a thing. Today, we're over 900 team members, backed by top-tier investors, operating in more than 100 countries, and supporting some of the most sophisticated operators in one of the fastest growing, most exciting industries we're so lucky to be a part of. Yeah. The pace of change in our space is unlike anything I've seen before, and I've seen quite a few things. We're no longer in a predictable market cycle. We're in an environment that shifts by the month, sometimes by the week. Today, I'm going to walk you through some real-time insights grounded in Guesty's new industry survey so we can navigate this dynamic moment with clarity, confidence, and action. Sorry about that. 2025 is redefining what business as usual means. We're operating in an era shaped by four converging forces: economic volatility, emerging geopolitical tension, evolving guest expectations, and the rapid rise of AI. Together, they form the ultimate test for operators' abilities, and on the other hand, create extraordinary opportunities for those who move fast and strategically. Just think of the past 5 years and what we've gone through. Each of these events, from pandemic to wildfires, to wars, hurricanes, and flooding, has left a permanent mark on how our industry operates. They've tested our resilience, reshaped our playbooks, and raised the bar to what it means to be competitive. If there's one constant, it's this: the operators that thrive are those who adapt faster than the market changes. In today's session, we'll focus on those macro forces and their impact. And we'll do that while diving into our unreleased industry survey, where we heard from 650 operators around the world. So what are we up against? We have economic uncertainty, with interest rates still being high, putting pressures on pricing, funding, and financing. It's, of course, influenced by the global political friction, with real effects on travel patterns, shifting guest behaviors from purely functional to deeply emotional, and AI acceleration and tech consolidation, which we'll hear a lot about in the next couple of days. Skift's State of Travel report really captures the environment we're in, and I quote, "Disruption and uncertainty, whether political, economic, or environmental, have become the new norm, especially for travelers. In the midst of these challenges, they need real-time support and personal care to travel with greater peace of mind." So what does it mean? It's about psychology. Guests in a less predictable environment want to feel they're in control of the trip, whether it's with proximity bias, favoring destinations with driving distance, or looking for a destination that feels both familiar and flexible and can be booked last minute. Guests are looking for control in space, comfort, and without sacrificing connection to local experience and breaking the bank. One visible shift we've seen from the market is the shift away from risky, leveraged, lease-to-rent strategies to franchise-inspired models that reward local expertise and operational efficiency. This model provides operators with the efficiencies of scale, consistency and ROI, while balancing risk. In a way, is enjoying both worlds. So going back to franchise models, in 2024, we actually saw this trend coming and launched a franchise-ready platform specifically designed to power revenue growth for franchise operators, allowing them to consolidate and manage guests, operation, analytics, and brand identity in one place, while enabling franchises to leverage their local experience and presence through their own websites. We have representatives from some of the top short rental franchises in the world here with us in this room, including Casago, PMI, and Grand Welcome. So use this opportunity, talk to them in the next 2 days, and learn more about this shift. I mentioned our industry report. We went to operators and asked, in today's climate, what external factors create the most uncertainty or concern for your short rental business? Any guesses? 54% stated that inflation is one of their top worries this year. This concern applies to hosts and guests alike. On the consumer side, persistent inflationary pressure in 24 and 25 already caused shifts in travel budgets. Deloitte's travel industry outlook cited that travelers are increasingly trading down. This means choosing fewer nights or less expensive destinations to balance higher transport and food costs. For you, inflation pushes up costs, directly impacting profitability. Right alongside inflation, operators are grappling with competition and costs. Market saturation means supply growth in many cities is outpacing demand as more hosts are entering our wonderful market. For example, AirDNA noted that in 24, markets like Lisbon and Nashville saw supply grow and nearly double the pace of demand, which puts direct pressure on occupancy and pricing. Rising costs are partially a product of inflation, of course, and they include higher wages for cleaners, steeper utility bills, and some regions have compliance costs tied to new regulations. Coupled with market saturation I just mentioned, you may find yourself squeezed between rising expenses and competitive rates. That's why flexibility doesn't just mean pricing strategy. It means rethinking distribution channels, introducing efficiencies, and getting proactive about cost management. We talked about economic uncertainty. Political and media volatility not only impact the former, but are altering travel sentiment in meaningful ways. For example, are there any Canadians in the room? So, Canadians dropped their booking to the US over 12% year over year. That's not very nice of you, you know. We have a lot of US customers. As we've seen, this kind of shift can happen quickly. The top operators are adjusting their messaging in near real time, refocusing on local and regional guests, and making sure every touch point, from search to checkout, reflects the mood of the moment. The guest profile is also changing under macroeconomic and political pressures. We asked our customers and operators about that. 46%, so almost half of the operators, say their guests are booking closer to check-in, and many report shorter stays, reduced spending, and fewer international visitors, taking us back to proximity bias. That shorter, leaner, later travel trend speaks to consumer caution that is already reshaping how we market, price, and prepare our properties. I'm sure you heard the new expression, unreasonable hospitality, right? Ring the bell? Like it? Guests expect personalization, thoughtful amenities, immediate responses, oh, and of course, no luxury pricing attached. People's preferences are changing. Influencers are creating FOMO and search for Instagrammable stays. And even with tighter budgets, guests expect to be dazzled. So how can you reasonably compete during a wave of unreasonable hospitality? Apologies again. Here's the reality. Guests aren't competing and comparing you against your closest competitor. They're comparing you to their last best experience anywhere. The peak end rule in psychology tells us that people judge experiences based largely on their emotional high points and how that experience ends. Here's an example of our very own influencer, David Ngati. Where is David? David was recently dazzled by asking for an espresso and getting an espresso machine. Isn't that amazing? You can deliver that moment of surprise, if you can deliver that moment of wow, and close with a frictionless, warm, meaningful goodbye, you don't just win a booking, you create an advocate who will in return refer, amplify your brand online and through word of mouth. When we asked operators what contributed the most to increasing occupancy last year, any guesses? Reviews. Okay? That warm message at check-in and check-out, the marshmallows you run up to a property, the surprise birthday cake, they all contribute to positive reviews, which boost your bottom line. 5 stars are becoming increasingly evasive, as often guests leave a 4-star review for an excellent stay. The goalpost of defining great service is constantly moving when guests are looking for that extra spark. 42% of respondents said that having more positive reviews helped contribute to increased occupancy. A single bad review can undo months of effort, with 16% of hosts saying that a single bad review directly contributed to occupancy rates decreasing for them. Even with the human connection and emotions at the core of this industry, we can't ignore the AI-generated elephant in the room. We're at an inflection point of the AI shift in the travel industry. You're no longer just marketing to people. You're marketing to the AI agents that influence people's decisions. Did any of you ask ChatGPT what to do in Mexico City? Yeah? Did it respond, go to Guestival, the festival for short-term rentals? No? I think that's the best thing to do around here. But seriously, we're seeing this every day with the rise of AI ticketing, AI travel agents, and search tools. Winning in this environment means understanding how to be discoverable and appealing, not just to humans, but to the digital intermediaries that filter choices for them. From anticipating guest needs before they even reach out to hyper-personalized experiences, AI is shaping the entire booking journey end to end. On the Guesty platform, we've seen double-digit growth in automation tool adoption over the past year. It's not about cutting costs. It's also about cutting costs, but not just. It's about reinvesting that time into higher value activity. Because AI doesn't replace the human element. It frees up operators to focus on the creative, relational, and strategic parts of the business that technology can't replicate. We talked about AI, and I want to talk about the consolidation of the tech stack with 6 different areas. So the first is your PMS as a core centralized hub. Operators do not want a dozen disconnected vendors. They want a single command center, and your PMS should be that critical hub helping you stay in control. The second is your payments and financial integrations, and you'll hear about it more tomorrow in the product session. Payments are moving into the core stack. Purpose-built, industry-specific payment solutions are becoming the norm. Guesty Pay was developed in response to this as part of the broader trend towards embedding financial operations with core platforms. When it comes to guest experiences, we see hotels consolidating loyalty, personalization, and upgrades into a seamless, automated journey. PMS solutions like our own Reviews AI and Shield Suite also reflect that trend, merging guest communication, reputation management, and risk mitigation into a single layer. Now, when it comes to distribution, consolidation in the industry create a single decision-making hub with pricing strategy, channel management, and occupancy into a single engine. As the industry matures and consolidates, it's just as important to reevaluate your compliance and risk management. Because we talked about AI, those risks and fraudsters, they develop with AI just alongside us. So doubling down on ID verification, risk management, and insurance are shifting from optional to mandatory. Much like financial services in 2008, compliance is being built into platform rather than added later. And evolving regulations and fraud prevention requirements means compliance has become a core part of the tech stack. When talking about consolidation, we have to mention data. Travel giants are consolidating data into predictive systems, like Booking Holdings Group with AI demand forecasting, and airlines predicting disruptions before they happen, and of course, OTAs with AI trip planners. For us, it means business intelligence, forecasting, and insights must come from a central source of truth, connecting the dots across reservations, channels, geos, and seasons. Winners and losers will be separated by those who track performance and those who track, predict, and act on it. We looked at 4 trends shaping our industry. I want to end this session by diving into some key practical takeaways and how some of them would be addressed in the next couple of days. We mentioned risks associated with inflation and uncertainty, leading to price sensitivity, short booking windows, and growing competition. Pricing agility has become a defining capability in today's operators. The experts speaking in this afternoon's session, there's a pricing strategy session at 3 p.m., will share how they're taking pricing agility to the next level, pairing dynamic pricing tools with human judgment. We talked about the importance of reviews and increasing occupancy, using in-stay communications to fix problems quickly, automated review requests, tracking guest sentiment, and responding with intent can all be translated into better reviews with a real dollar value. If you really want to see how best operators are turning this into a loyalty engine, join us at Direct Booking Mastery, Building Guest Loyalty Through Exceptional Experiences, tomorrow at 5:25. Sorry again. Your risk preparedness is important as ever. Remember, fraudsters and bad actors are getting up to speed as well. Risk management and readiness have to be a part of your culture, not just your tech stack. Diversify revenue protection strategies by building cash reserves and preparing contingency plan. With your team, build that culture of awareness. Your team should be trained on spotting phishing emails and booking scams before they escalate, and when these happen, how to act upon them. In addition to your teams, make sure your terms protect both revenue and property. Balance flexible policies with stronger safeguards. And if you want to hear how other operators are navigating risk, join Maximizing Revenue and Reducing Risk through Diversification and Emerging Markets tomorrow at 2:05. They'll share how they're protecting revenue streams and building resilience in a market that changes overnight. And if you're here, you already understand the importance of a strong PMS, but the real question is whether you're unlocking every insight it gives you. Analytics only create value if it's operationalized, and AI can help you get there. We'll be unpacking this further tomorrow at 11:40 with machine learning. Don't you just love that name, machine learning? Our industry is in motion, and so are we. The next chapter will be written by those who combine data discipline and artificial intelligence with emotional intelligence and a real human connection. Over the past 5 years, our industry has already proven remarkable resilience. And it's time for you to prepare yourselves, because the next 5 years are not going to be easier. But the difference will be you, the people in this room, the partners you choose, the connections you make, and, of course, the technology you trust. Those will define your next chapter of growth. We're proud to stand with you through this next wave of challenges and innovation, driving the industry forward and redefining what's possible. Thank you so much.